Solar eclipses are incredible to observe because the moon and the sun seem to overlap perfectly in our sky, despite the sun being much larger, hundreds and hundreds of times larger. The trick lies in the fact that the moon is about 400 times closer to our planet, so they appear the same size to observers. Unfortunately, at some point in our planet's history, solar eclipses will no longer occur. In fact, the moon is moving away from the Earth, drifting about 4 cm each year. Because of this movement, the moon will no longer completely block the sun. NASA experts have calculated when the last solar eclipse will occur. They say it will take about 600 million more years, so we can safely say that none of us will be here to see it. Speaking of things we won't see in our lifetime, we might also have to add exploding stars to the list. We know what stars look like when they die out thanks to telescopes, but we've never seen one explode with the naked eye above us. Betelgeuse might not seem like a familiar name, but know that it is a red supergiant star located about 1,000 light-years away from us. What makes it special is that it could explode and offer a spectacle never seen from here on Earth. This star has always been shrouded in some mystery about when it will explode. What we know is that Betelgeuse is in the final stages of carbon burning in its core, and this carbon burning phase typically lasts about 1,000 years. We probably won't see stars collapsing in the near future. However, since this event will most likely be harmless to our planet, it represents something exciting that future generations can look forward to. Also, if you're curious about spotting Betelgeuse in the night sky, it's usually visible in the evenings of January and February and in early August. You can see it before dawn. It has this peculiar dull reddish-orange hue, perfect for showing skeptics that stars really do have colors. Our planet will undergo many changes in the future. If we could travel a few million years into the future, we might not recognize our planet's maps at all. Currently, Earth has 7 continents, but it hasn't always been this way and will likely change again in the future. About 310 million years ago, Earth had a megacontinent called Pangaea. About 180 million years ago, it began to break apart. Now, scientists believe that in the next 200 million years or so, we could witness the formation of another large continent. In fact, we might be right in the middle of forming a supercontinent. There are 4 main scenarios for how this new land could form, each with its peculiarity. They all relate to how Pangaea fragmented and how our continents continue to shift. Our day, the 24-hour cycle we live in, is slowly lengthening. This gradual, insidious change will eventually lead to days that are 25 hours long. Here's why it's happening. Earth's daily rotation is becoming slightly slower each year, and it's all thanks to the moon. Our satellite is, in a sense, stealing some of Earth's energy. We know this phenomenon is happening thanks to a fantastic device called a laser-ranging retroreflector. It emits laser beams toward the moon, and when these beams bounce back to Earth, they take a little longer to return. This small delay is a clue that our days are lengthening. So how long will it take before we get an extra hour each day to complete our to-do lists? Well, NASA experts have done some calculations. In the last 100 years, our days have lengthened by about 1.4 milliseconds. If we broaden the perspective and look at the last 2,000 years using historical records of solar eclipses, the average length of a day has extended by 2.5 milliseconds every century. Putting aside the boring calculations, it will take about 50,000 years to add 1 more second to our day. This means it will take 180 million years for a day on Earth to be 25 hours long. This, of course, is if nothing new happens with our planet's rotation in the meantime. The Milky Way and one of its closest neighbors, Andromeda, are predicted to merge in the distant future. We won't be here to see this interaction, but it probably won't seem like a big change here on Earth. The fact that galaxies collide may seem unusual, especially since we know the universe is expanding. If galaxies are moving further apart, how will they still meet? Nearby galaxies don't just float in space. Each exerts an influence on the other thanks to gravity. That's why the Milky Way and Andromeda are approaching each other at a speed of about 300 km/s. If we do the math, it means their collision won't happen for another 4.5 billion years, and there's a chance they will pass through each other gently without noticeable changes from our solar system. There will come a time in the distant future when Saturn's spectacular icy rings will no longer be there, at least according to some new research. NASA's Cassini probe, which spent its time orbiting Saturn from 2004 to 2017, gathered new information about these rings and when they might disappear. Scientists have debated for some time about the actual age of Saturn's rings. Some thought they must be quite young because they are still so bright and icy. They hypothesized that over billions of years, they would have been consumed and darkened by all the space objects crashing into them. In fact, these rings might still have been forming when dinosaurs roamed the Earth. When foreign space objects infiltrate the rings, they push material from the innermost circle towards Saturn at a rather high speed. As a result, Cassini observed the rings losing tons of mass every second. This means these rings won't be visible for much longer, at least in cosmic terms. They are estimated to last at most a few 100 million years. We might also miss the next cosmic event, but just barely. This is because, according to some estimates, it could occur in just 100 years. Earth's magnetic field could collapse by reversing its north and south poles. Researchers say that in the last 3,000 years, our planet's magnetic field has been in constant decline. And if this trend continues, we could reach a critical point in less than 1,000 years for the planet's poles to switch. The magnetic field needs to weaken by about 90%, a process that can take thousands of years. During this vulnerable phase, our planet loses its protective magnetic shield, allowing more cosmic rays from space to enter. The last time this pole reversal happened was almost 800,000 years ago. The problem is that we are currently in one of the most risky phases. The field is weakening, but there's a chance it could recover its strength. However, at this rate of decline, it could plummet to almost zero in just a few centuries or a millennium, and we are already seeing the effects of our weakened magnetic field on our satellites. In the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean between South America and Africa, there is a region where Earth's magnetic field is 3 times weaker than at the poles. Scientists call it the South Atlantic Anomaly, SAA. Satellites passing through this area constantly face electronic problems. No one knows why this weak field region initially appeared, and predicting its future moves has been quite inconclusive. One theory suggests that a huge vortex in Earth's liquid metal outer core might be responsible, pushing the magnetic field away from the South Atlantic. Another hypothesis is that the magnetic field in this region has oriented in the wrong direction, like a mini pole reversal. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support us.